We are here today with Sean Donahoe. Sean, welcome back to the show.
Hey, it's been a minute. How you doing?
I'm good. Sean, I've had you on the show multiple times before, and you always come on. You share a lot of great information about things that you're actually doing in your own business. And today we're going to be talking about a formula that you have for making money online that is completely updated for 2025. In fact, you've actually started using AI in your business to make yourself even more of a super human here. I'm gonna read off the headline for this. You can bring us into this. It says here, I'm pissed off watching gurus get rich while you stay broke. So I'm revealing the 30-minute method that built me $4.1 million. So bring us into this. What's this all about and why should we be excited?
Okay, so as you may or may not know, I do a lot of master classes. I like actually taking what I'm doing right now, and then if it's working for me, relay that to people who can get the most benefit from it. So I've been doing this. Well, okay, I've been in this particular industry we're talking about for 25 years,
Mhm.
doing this for myself. And it's a method that is one of three that I do. It's the three areas of business I do. And that business is trading. So we're going to let the cat out of the bag right now. A lot of traditional businesses, you have to go find customers, have something to sell. You have to go create funnels, websites, be a master copywriter, figure out how to do, all the graphics design. You have to wear many, many, many hats. Well, trading is a business. Start with an input, process, output of profit, and keep doing it again. A lot of what we do is very algorithmic. So we remove all the guesswork and the discretion and or just closing your eyes and hoping for the best. A lot of what we do is very algorithmic, like a production line process. I think of a factory conveyor belt. What we want to do is continuously do a process as a business that allows us to get profit off that conveyor belt as it goes. So what I do is I'm a trader and I trade three different areas. So when you see me on the past with Mike, we're usually talking about one of these three.
Mhm.
Well, this one is probably the most timely one for where we are right now. We're talking about mainstream crypto, your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, your Solanas, because not only has Bitcoin just hit $118,000 as of last week, crypto is exploding. We have a crypto friendly administration. And historically, September, October, and November have been absolutely magnificent for crypto. The thing is, most people have no idea not only how to get into crypto, but how to actually trade it, where all that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the market's going up, down, or sideways. What we want to be able to do is run a process again, left, right, one, two, repeat, and keep pulling out profit. This is the method that we're going to be teaching live starting next Monday at 11 a.m. for a full 5 days. I'm going to teach exactly what I've done for many, many years, which is based on what I've done for 25 years in the crypto space. And as Mike mentioned, there's an AI element to this. And we're not talking, let's face it, a lot of the AI systems you see out there, they're just fancy wrappers for ChatGPT or
Mhm.
Claude or VO or something like that. This is actual real machine learning about what's happening in the markets in real time. The AI I built, and it's not ChatGPT or any of this stuff, it's actual real machine learning, is looking at what's happening in real time with the market to then decide, this is happening, this is happening, and this is happening. This would be a good point to buy. And then, this is happening, this is happening. This would be a good time to get out, lock in the profits, and so on and so forth, to the point where it's 95% automated. It still requires that human element because, again, you want to be the one, pressing the buttons.
You
It's
want to be
your,
the puppet master behind it. Let
exactly.
me ask you this,
Uh,
Sean. Right now, you mentioned something that is really interesting because like Bitcoin I'm looking at the price of it right now. You mentioned 118. I mean, it's right around $118,000 for one Bitcoin, which I think is amazing for someone that got in when it was $5, $10, $100, even when it was like $10,000. It was amazing. But now I look at that, I'm like, okay, that's great, but what's that mean to me? I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest or to risk because I mean, you said there's obviously this is trading. There's going to be some risk involved in it.
Same
So
as
yeah,
any
what's your
business.
answer to that?
Well, so here's the thing. It doesn't mean you have to have $118,000 to buy a coin. You can buy $10 of a coin. You can buy $50. You can start wherever you are and then plan out where to go from there. So the cool thing is, first of all, while you're learning this, you don't have to risk a dime. Unlike any other business, you can paper trade, which means you can say, oh, well, at this point, I would have bought $100 here or $10 here. And oh, it grew here. Okay, now I would have exited that trade right there. I would have made this much. And you can practice that. With traditional businesses, Mike couldn't go ahead and create a pretend website with a pretend affiliate offer and go to Mark Zuckerberg and say, hey, I've got a pretty cool website. You can't see it because it doesn't really exist, but can you send me some pretend traffic
Hmm.
so I can get some pretend customers to make some pretend? Or you can't do that. I couldn't open up a shoe shop on the high street or in a shopping mall, get a pretend lease with pretend stock, pretend customers, and say, hey, you do some pretend marketing to do some pretend transactions. Can't do that in business. That's risk. With this, you can practice risk-free, not only to see that you can do it, but prove to yourself that you can do it continuously. So the cool thing is you can practice paper trade, then you can start trading small. We do this in a three-phase process. Paper trade for 30 days.
Hmm.
Once you've got a consistent track record and you're doing it, for the next 30 days, do what we call Starbucks trading, which is small, $5 trades. Now, with a $5 trade, you can say, okay, it's if I spill it, if I lose, it's not a big deal.
Mhm.
But when you have 30 days of this, and you can see, again, you've got the same results, the same win rate as you had in the month previously, good. Now you can scale up to wherever you want to go. So it's a way to it's like being in a jet airliner on the runway. First, you're going down the runway, you got your engines going, okay, you're on the ground, okay, no risk at the moment. Then
Mhm.
you pull back up and slowly you ascend your journey and off you go. Like many businesses, but it was the best analogy I could come up with, making it up as I go along.
I just worry that um, I'm I've done stock trading before. I've bought
Mhm.
stuff and it's very similar to that type of thing. I worry that I've made bad decisions based upon emotions and
Ah,
specifically back during the pandemic. I like freaked out and I was like everything's going down and I sold at the wrong point and then went back up again, of course. I knew what I was doing was wrong at the time. I knew in my brain was telling me this is dumb, but my panic was like, oh, I need to get out of this. How do you prevent people like me from panicking and making the wrong decisions?
that's actually a very, very good question. Emotion and the fear of loss are two of the biggest things that kill most traders. So what we do is we bring in, like I mentioned, an algorithmic aspect to this, and it's following the system, following the rules, following the checkbox system. And one thing I talk about in this is really, if you do what I do, you're going to get the results I get. And let me explain this in a little more detail. A lot of, I know a lot of people in the education space, okay, and they're very good at getting the results they get and everything else, but their students don't, because their students can't really learn experience without doing it continuously and making those mistakes. So first of all, paper trading allows us to level that playing field. You can practice without risk. But if you do what I do, you're going to get the same results I get, which means you don't need experience. And for this, if we're both looking at the same data, we're looking, say, Bitcoin, okay, and we see the same thing happening that's per the rules, and we take the same action and get out at the same time because the rules at this point, or the part of the process says, okay, this has happened, get out. We're going to have the same results. The numbers may be vastly different, but if I'm following the same rules, you're following the same rules, and we're looking at the same thing, we're going to get the same outcome, which means you can bypass the 25 years of experience that I had to accumulate to get here, because everything I do is rule-based. Everything I do is algorithmic. And it can be as simple as if this, then that. And when that, do this. Boom. It removes all the guesswork. It removes all the emotion. The thing is, you've got to trust the process because it's long-term. You're going to have periods where it feels like if Warren Buffett, everything you're doing is right. There's going to be periods when you're going to have drawdown. And that, again, that triggers that little bit of the lizard brain, which creates that fear and emotion. But when you're doing it small, you can then say, okay, well, I've got that up, I've got that down, okay, boom. We call it dialing down the volume. But you'll prove to yourself with your track record that you're consistent. And then when you're going to bigger, scaling up and bigger numbers, that's when you can say, okay, well, I've been through this before at a small scale. This is slightly bigger, but I know following the rules, blah, 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 blah. Again, it's literally down to that rule-based process that removes so much of that noise that you can be like, oh, done. All right, cool. I can see, not yet, and keep my profits, boom. And then, like I said, that track record over time becomes your roadmap for validation. But everything we do, you get rule-based, and all my systems are very rule-based so that it removes so much of that. Because seriously, it is one of the biggest problems for new traders. But you can also put that same analogy into pretty much any business. What if, I can't get more traffic? What if my Facebook ads have doubled in price? There's always those road bumps in terms of second guessing your business. But most of those businesses don't have a strategy and a rule that cover pretty much every scenario. With trading, we don't have to have all those complexities. We just have one process, one roadmap, and we just do that again and again and again to the point where it should be boring. There should be no emotion because it's just my morning coffee routine. Oh, how's that happen? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, done. Close the laptop, get on with my day until I get a notice. Oh, yeah, on my phone, yeah. All right, time to sell. Done. Close, forget about
I'm guessing you've got a strategy for, like, if you bought, let's say you bought $100 worth of some crypto and then it went down, maybe, I don't know what your number is. If it goes down 10%, 20%, then you cut your losses, or maybe even you've got it so that if it goes up 20%, I don't know if you would automatically sell or if you would adjust up a little bit and say, okay, I've made this much money now. If it goes, I'll see if it goes up higher, but if it goes down maybe 10%, I don't know. Like, do you adjust it there? How does that work?
That's a good technical question, and I'll try not to go nerdy here. But the process we use is an asymmetrical trade. And using your $100 number, say I'm risking $100. If it hits target, it's $200.
Okay.
If I have a stop and I'm risking that $100 when it gets there, okay, fine, that's gone. But with a 75% win rate, and I'm collecting $200 for every $100 loss. In fact, here's the thing: mathematically, and we talk. If you're in early, we might cover this in the early bird webinar. But
Okay.
I give an example walking through where you can be wrong 50% more than you're right, and still make a surgeon's living over time. And we go through this mathematical example, and I don't want to verbally say here because it's kind of visual, but imagine that you had, if you want to do the quick mental math, imagine that you had 3 losses, each risking, and I'm using the number $100, it could be $10, doesn't matter. I'm just using this for simple math. So you have 3 losses, you lose 300, but you have 2 wins. That is a $200 win. That one's a $200 win. Total of 400. So you're 300. With your 400, that's $100 profit. Do that 60 times a month, you're roughly 20% return on capital a month. That's the simplest I can break down that example. But yes, there are methods there. It is part of the process where you can do that. And we walk through it to keep it as simple as possible. I'm trying not to go nerdy so that we don't complicate it. But again, you win more than you lose. And again, even if you do lose, it's part of the process. But the long term is the continuous application of this and putting the profits in your pocket and letting that build up over time.
Let's be completely transparent in the fact that I know everyone knows that most people that join online programs, that buy training, that do things, they never take action on it.
This is
And
true.
those people can't do much with. I mean, I bought a gym membership and I went for the first month and then I ended up not going and I burned my gym membership. I bought a treadmill. I've been on it 5 times. Like if you can't, they always say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So forget those people. The people that are watching this right now that are saying to themselves, okay, this sounds really interesting. It sounds like something I could do. It's not something that's gonna use your emotional brain. It's following a system. It's following you. What are realistic results that people can have? And I know you've had students before. Talk to me about realistic results for people that take action, that actually go all in on this.
It's a good question because mileage will vary depending on aptitude, consistency. There's lots of factors. I don't, for the viewer listening right now, I don't know you. Okay. I don't know whether you've got some natural talent, you pick up things fast, whether you're going to need a long time, short time. We've had people quit their jobs within 90 days. I've got a guy who's actually having a full-time income in his retirement. We have hundreds of students through this, and the results are amazing when you do it, when you apply it. I'm going to give you all the tools, the training. I'm going to give you the strategy. I'm going to walk you through the entire process because the one thing, in all the years I've been teaching people anything in every business, and this includes working with Fortune 500 companies, multinational banks, there's one true factor that really, I would say, overrides everything. Consistency. Doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what you are. If you have a strategy that you can see works, and one of the main things with this masterclass is that you prove it to yourself, okay? Because I can tell you, you could see it all on a nice fancy screen. You may have a beautiful PDF and a presentation. You may have all the data in front of you. Until you prove it to yourself, you're never going to believe that it's possible. And that's why I love doing these master classes, because they're all live. It's not pre-recorded. It's you going to sit down with me for an hour a day. It's actually 5 days in total. We do 3 core days and then 2 bonus days. But the main thing with that is doing this and actually doing the process that we teach, proving to yourself, because I don't need to prove it to you. Okay. You can see all the stats. You can see all the customer results as you go through all this. That's fine. And you can say, well, that's great until you get down and do it. Even though it's on paper, you're not risking a dime to do this. But when you can show yourself that I can do this simple 3-step process, and I've done this for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks or what have you, and you've got a measurable result, I would have made, I don't know, obviously let's make up some base numbers. I've got $5,000 that I've applied to this and I'm already up 10%. Let's use that as an arbitrary, I did well. Guess what? That 10% in 1 month is better than the Maine stock market does on average in a year. Think about that. That then increase every month, boom, boom, boom. That is your snowball effect over time. But again, the most important thing for action takers, and honestly, I also want to say this to all the non-action takers. You're obviously watching this video because you want something more in life. And you know there's got to be something that you can do that is going to give you a return on your time, not just your money. A return that's going to give you drive and focus and motivation to get to your why, whatever destination that is off in the future. Turn up, sign up, let me show it to you, and just give it a shot. Just give it a shot. If you've seen all the fancy whiz bang AI tools and the magic button solutions, and you know in your heart, most of them are absolute total BS, just the way it is. Okay. I've been burnt. Mike's been burnt. I'm sure he's seen plenty of bullshit come across his desk as well. But the main thing for you is, look, this is what I do every bloody day. It's what my students do every day. And this is the absolute best time to learn this topic and this particular area of trading, because those who are paying attention right now, the end of this year, are going to be bloody glad they did. I mean, there's predictions that, I mean, we're just talking about Bitcoin earlier, $118,000 a coin. There's predictions that in the next 5 years, and this is from big institutional money, that it's going to be about $1.5 million a coin. That's just under 15 times where it is right now. You know, think about that for a second. And that's just what I've seen predictions that in 10 years, it's upwards of 20 to 30 million. Now, is it going to get there? I don't have a DeLorean. I can't jump to the future and tell you, yes, it was true. I don't know. But here's the thing. For me, that's a nice story. It's great if it does happen. But all the way up, it's going to be up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up. It's going to be all over the bloody place. Well, guess what? Those moves, that's the trend flows. That's where I make my money. If it's up, great in the long term, fantastic. I'm going to be making a lot of money. If it's going up or sideways or down, doesn't matter. I'm going to be making money. That's what I'm going to be teaching you.
Sean, for people that are interested in taking the next step on this and joining, this interview, for people watching it, this will be going out on Sunday evening. You're going to be launching this on Monday morning. Tell us a little bit about how that's going to work.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you're doing it Sunday, guy, okay, so here's the thing. That tells me you might be able to get in on the early bird. Now, the early bird webinar, which includes that example I was just talking about, where I walk through, you know, a 12-month and 18-month scenario, that's in that early bird webinar. Be on that for that. Also, if you get in on the early bird, I'm giving away $1,000 to fund someone's business on that early bird webinar. So it's a good motivation to get off your ass and be there. All right. So that would give you early access to that. That's at 10 a.m. and that opens up some seats as well. At 11 a.m. it opens up to the public. Everyone else floods in who was not on the early bird, and then boom, go through it. You'll see some of the examples, the walkthroughs, the student results, and everything else. And we go into a lot more detail. I love these interviews because I can say the stuff that I don't say on the sales page. It always gives me an opportunity to kind of give you a little deeper peek into my world. Sorry, those are notices of trades coming home and actually making a profit, if you can hear that through the microphone. Yeah, so that was me just made. Okay, I won't say it's a rude number, but a good profit for today's activity. So that's good. But yeah, so again, early bird if you can. If not, I'm sure there's a button below.
There'll be a link for them to join and to click on. For people that are interested, and one thing I want to mention too, Sean, is that the price for this is ridiculously low. I mean, people are probably expecting a larger price for this. I mean, you're giving this away for peanuts.
I really am, and honestly, I don't make a dime from this. I do enjoy what I do. I mean, here's the thing. Okay, it sounds hyperbole, but it's really true. I never have to work again. I retired, and I tried full retirement in my mid-40s, I live here in Thailand paradise. I was last weekend. I was in Tokyo for the weekend with my boy. This weekend, literally just before this interview, I got back from being up in the mountains with my wife and scooting around some beautiful scenery. I have a very good life. The one thing though is when I tried full retirement, I got absolutely bored to tears. So I love doing these master classes because I actually really enjoy teaching this stuff because I know how it changes lives, how it makes everything just freaking amazing when you get this down and it's working because I'm done in 30 minutes a day with this. When I'm doing my trading, I'm done. That's it. The rest of the day is mine. And it doesn't matter if I'm in Tokyo, up in the mountains in the middle of nowhere. As long as I've got my phone, I'm done.
How much are you
That's it.
looking? How much are you checking your stats? Because you always hear the classic people doing AdSense websites, like logging in and checking their AdSense, or logging in and just checking this, checking that. And where a lot of us are guilty of that, or checking email too often. How often do you really check? Are you always checking it to kind of see, or do you let it run?
Nope. Literally, it's about 30 minutes. But you see that if I don't know if it came through on the camera or the microphone, but there was a little beep, beep, beep. That was just telling me that I've made money. Was there anything for me to do? No, I just looked like, okay, trade closed. Okay, money in my pocket. That's what I like. And so I don't really need to check. I might check in the evening, honestly. I will go through and just say, okay, what's the stats for today?
Mhm.
But that was more of a, okay, tally up. Did I make money today? Did I lose money? Oh, I made money. Okay, great. How much? Good. All right. Close the phone down. Go back to watching MotoGP, which I'm going to be doing here with some friends in a few moments. It's as simple as that. And I don't. It's the one business I would say doesn't it requires the least screen time. Although it seems like it's a technical thing to do.
Mhm.
Once you've got it set up and once you're doing this, even if it takes an hour a day, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening, that's not really a bad business to
Not too
have,
bad, yeah.
you know? And so, but for me, yeah, I look at the charts, I do have multiple monitors, cliche trader, but I also do broadcasts like this. I have a graphic design tablet and I'm also an avid gamer. But, I just check sit with my coffee, check my charts, check what's going on, anything to do. No, close it, boom, off I go. That's really it. So this is why I love teaching it because I've been in this industry so bloody long from the marketing side and from the finance side. This really is the easiest business to build. Once you understand it, once all the mythos and the mysteriousness of trading, because most people think, oh, it's overly
Mhm.
complicated, it's big charts, it's lots of math. It's none of those things really. But again, when you see what we do, that will all make sense. But again, it's one of those things, like I said, you got to do it to really understand it. But when you unlock this, whole world changes.
Everyone, go ahead if you're interested in finding out more and potentially getting in on this, and maybe even winning $1,000 to have Sean fund your business. Go
I
ahead and
also
click that
said,
link.
I'll throw one more thing in
Go
there.
for it.
In the masterclass itself as well, when you sign up at the end of the masterclass, I'm actually giving away $1,750 because I'll fund one more person's business with 1,000, and then we got 500 and 250 as runner-up prizes as well. So not only do you get to learn all the stuff that we'll teach, but also I may be able to fund you as well, and we have other daily prizes as well. But sorry to interrupt, I wanted to throw that in
No,
there.
good.
More
No, I'm glad. I
incentive.
mean, there's lots of opportunities for people. Again, if you're on the fence here on this, if this sounds at all interesting to you, sounds like something that you could potentially do and you want to learn more about it, click that link, sign up for the webinar. Sean, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Anything else we missed that you wanted to mention before we wrap it up?
Oh my God, there's so much. But I'm going to say, go check it out. Let it all be revealed because there's so much behind this, and you'll be glad that you joined this. And like I said, with what is traditionally, historically happening with crypto right now, usually from September, October, November, that is the hottest period for growth. Now is the perfect time to learn this.
Thanks again for coming on and best of luck with your launch.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Take care.